Please join me in formally and finally officially welcoming our president, Jeff DeFranco. Good.
All right. Well, thank you, Carrie. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for all of you being here today. Yeah, could you make this go? Can we make this go away?
That was my job.
Best laid plans, right? Best laid plans. But thank you for being here today. And I know there's some elected officials that Carrie introduced and some of our partners that were able to kind of enter right after the beginning. So thank you to all of you for being here. For me, it was very important with this first State of the College address to have our community partners here as well, because we cannot do this alone. We cannot lead this college to where it needs to be just as the staff and faculty of this college. We need our community partners, our business partners to be alongside of us as we guide to our future. So thank you again for coming, and I'm looking forward today. Let me provide a roadmap for this presentation. This is my first State of the College address. This is definitely different, I think, than what we've done in our most recent history, although we've always had convocation. But my intent was to engage all of us, our staff, our faculty, our student leaders, our administration, our business partners, our community partners, to hear this message once. Where have we been? What have we accomplished? And where are we going? This is a unique opportunity for us all to be in the same room and look at that shared vision. So today, I'll share some personal stories. I'll also share some data about LTCC and its students. I'll share some exciting announcements. We'll celebrate some achievements, and we will look to the future, looking at where we're moving, what are our goals. And also, I hope to bring a little inspiration and levity to the presentation, because I believe no presentation's good without a good laugh. So hopefully we'll find that moment. So as a new president at your first State of the College address, it's appropriate to make an introduction of yourself. Let people know who you are, what you stand for, who you are as a person. In my case, as somebody who's been at this college for more than 5 years now, I felt that it was maybe appropriate to make a reintroduction. I was here as the Vice President of Administrative Services, and I remember many of you saying, oh yeah, he's the money guy, and which was funny because I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, I've always seen myself as an educator. And this is really stepping into the CEO role, I think, is my opportunity to kind of be an educator and be a leader with all of you on the behalf of our students in this college. So I started as a new president. It was a pretty big winter. They always say that new presidents kind of have trial by fire. There's no way to prepare yourself for the CEO position and all the things that will cross your desk. For me, it was trial by ice and snow. Some of you may remember this day. This was actually a picture that I took the afternoon, the first day of my presidency. Some of you probably remember this because we were up at 5 a.m. going, are we really need to cancel the college today? And I'm thinking, is this really happening on my first day? 5 years we went without closing the college, and then this winter came. But I had the support of many. And at first I was concerned, like, how could this happen, having to cancel the college on my first day? But then I received many letters from many of you. Pete Dixon, I don't know if you remember the letter you sent me, but it kind of encouraged me to say, hey, this is the right decision. And as I went over the next few days, people said, hey, this is a great sign. That was a drought-crushing storm. Snow in Tahoe it's like abundance. It's good. This is a great way to start your presidency. So instead of by trial by ice and snow, I'm going to say we had a lot of snow. Some of us were buried in it. But it was good, right? And it's a good start. It's a Tahoe way to start the presidency, and looking back on it, I want it no other way. That's actually my eldest son, Brody. And in addition to this job, you have to juggle many balls, right, as a president. But I'm also a dad of 2 young boys who are 9 and 6, elementary school here in the community, Brody and Rocco. And that really informs my leadership because I see how much the community side matters here. I see these students that want to grow up and go on to college. I see these students on our sidelines at the soccer games that now know us because of the Coyote soccer team and the Coyote mascot. But I find myself, you throw a few more balls in there as parenting, and I found myself empathizing with this guy this year of saying, this felt a lot about what I had to go through this year.
Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children's just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do. Pardon me. My apologies.
What's this going to mean for the region?
My apologies. South Korea's policy choices on North Korea have been severely limited in the last 6 months to a year.
I'm not sure who I feel worse for, him or the mom. I was just like trying to sneak in there. But there was many times this year I felt a lot like this guy. So that's just a little personal touch. But I try and keep myself grounded with my kids. I coach a youth soccer team, and I believe I'm not coaching soccer, but I'm helping develop young men and young leaders in this community. So moving forward to a more serious note, but always good to start with a laugh. I want to share with you some core values that I have as a leader that I've really developed over many years in education and in leadership. I shared these core values with all the staff via an email in my first week of the presidency. I believe it was my second day of the presidency, the day that we didn't actually have a snow day, so my second day. All of the management team met, and I talked about these core values and what they mean for me, because I think it's important for you to know what you could expect from me and what's going to guide my decisions and my leaderships on behalf of this institution. And so these values are out there. They're on the LTCC President's page. I'm not going to go through them one by one, but I am going to highlight a few and how they're already influencing decisions and actions of this college. Of course, students first, right? And what I hope you'll see is an institution that has students at the beginning in the forefront of all decisions. I like to spend a lot of time in the Commons, interfacing with students, getting to know them. I feel like I've developed a lot of personal relationships with our students, and that helps inform my thinking. One thing with Students First that you'll also see throughout today is that we're bringing student voice here. We're going to hear from student alumni later today. We're going to have a panel of existing students tomorrow for them to tell us what we've done well and what we could do more for them. I also think for a long time in higher education it was thought that students have the right to fail. That is their discretion if they want to drop out, if they want to do bad. They're young adults. Let them make their own decisions. I would contend to you in a students first model, the students have the right to succeed. And it is our job to create the support around these students, the guidance around these students, the programs around these students to help them succeed. This is not about dumbing down our curriculum. This is about doing everything we could do as staff and faculty to make sure that they succeed and complete and move on and achieve their stated goal. So first and foremost, that will always guide my thinking. Carrie mentioned this other one, public education is a great equalizer. He also mentioned a mentor of mine, Dr. Nancy Golden, who was a huge proponent of this and really drove this value into me. And I see it every day, the difference that public education can make for individuals in our community, for individuals that are new to our country, to individuals that are first-time higher education seekers in their family. And I look back and I know that it wasn't that long ago that I came from a family of Depression-era immigrants. This was my great-grandparents here. They emigrated from Sicily in Italy. And right there, that's my grandmother, my nanny, who is still with us here at the ripe age of 93. And she had a lot of brothers and sisters. And again, at that time, they were doing a lot of work. They were dairy farming in Dixon, right? There was many things just to kind of work and get ahead. But my great-uncle Carlo, the Rock, who actually, one of my sons shares his middle name, went to Sac City College. And he was the first person in the family to attend higher education. It was community college that made it possible. And he started at the Sacramento Bee as a paper boy and retired 30 years later as the director of circulation and was known as Mr. B when he left. And it was all made possible through Sac City College. And I am not blind to the fact that I stand here today as a college president with a master's degree working on doctoral studies because my family chose to take a step into education and because education was there and free and available to them. My mom in the next generation was able to go to UC Davis. I think when the UCs were free and open, right? So I think it is my personal mission in my life and all of our goals and responsibilities as an educator to help support that next generation of first-generation students, because it won't only make an impact for them, it'll make an impact intergenerationally for their immediate family and their kids and their grandkids for years and years to come. And I think this is especially timely right now as there's changes politically with DACA and students that are currently attending our schools that are being told that they're no longer going to be able to be a member of our community. How do we support these students so they could have access to higher education? So also with public education as a great equalizer, I saw something amazing this summer. I was able to attend a graduation of this student, Brian, who's one of our first 4 students who graduated from the incarcerated student program. He was actually a student that went all the way through our program. So he started with us and completed with us. So he is really, I would say, kind of the poster student for this program. And I saw an amazing day where his family gathered and saw an individual. And this is on the inside. I don't know if you can kind of notice behind the individuals with the prison garb on. But they saw a moment that they could celebrate and invest in this student and celebrate achievements despite all the challenges he's had in his life. And it was made possible by many of you. There's a photo of many of us here that made this possible, both our partners at High Desert State Prison and also here at Lake Tahoe Community College. But I know that there's dozens and dozens of us behind the scenes, faculty, adjunct faculty, classified staff, that make this program possible. And it was a very powerful moment for me and very crystallizing to see what a difference it was making in this individual's life despite all the challenges that were around him. And so I think this is a powerful program that we must continue. Another value is the power of partnership, right? I believe we could do more together. That's why I invited many of you here today, because it's with your partnership that we're able to take this next step. One of the partnership areas that we're really looking to enhance has to do with this theater we're sitting in here. How do we bring in more partners to use this space and become a hub of arts, culture, innovation, critical thinking in our community? And one partnership that I'm very excited to announce is that on September 29th in this facility, we'll be hosting the 2nd annual TEDx South Lake Tahoe. Cool, right? All right. So we have some amazing speakers, just a sampling up there. Terry Jones, Travelocity founder, DeWitt Jones, acclaimed photographer. I think no relation. I think that's just by chance. And I also want to introduce Robin DeSoto. Robin, do you mind standing up? Can you come into the light here so we can see you? So this is a volunteer group. Robin and his colleagues have helped make this happen because they believe that this is important for South Lake Tahoe. Robin's going to be here on September 29th, and I'm sure many times beforehand to make sure we're ready to go. But could we please acknowledge Robin and thank him? I'll also note that TEDx is making a generous contribution to the LTCC Foundation with some of their proceeds. It's a great partnership. The other thing that came up this last year with the Theater Task Force is how do we keep community theater in this community? Realizing that we want to have some 4-credit student theater, but how do we keep community theater in this facility? And they envisioned something such as this, which we're now able to announce. Valhalla will be bringing a full-length production of Joint Chiefs here in November 2017. And it'll actually be, one of the stars of the show will be our very own Kurt Munger. And what's exciting about this, it was the winner of the Word Wave 2016, and now it's a full-length feature film with the world premiere here at the Duke Theater. So again, how do we use partnership to bring things more in? You'll see the list of things here. There's a lot of stuff happening. Startup Weekend in partnership with the Tahoe Mountain Lab, Coyote Holiday Movie and Family Night. Get your photo taken with Coyote Claws. Bring your kids in, right? Ways to outreach and bring the community onto this campus and be a hub of arts and culture. One final value I want to speak to, and in some degree, they're all important, right? But as a leader, you can't be in every decision, you can't be in every moment, you can't be in every opportunity. So you need to develop leaders around you, and so that's a core value of mine. It's something that we're focusing on with our administration and management team. There's many of us on campus, I think probably about 30 of us that are currently or have completed reading this book, Primal Leadership, this summer, about how to bring resonance and positivity, to bring upbeat in the organization, and to help move us to be a service-oriented organization in support of our students and community. So those are a spotlight of core values. You'll see some of these themes throughout this presentation. So what did I do first when I was hired as the new president? Well, I went on a listening tour, of course, There's a lot of research out there that says as a new CEO, you should take your first 100 days to go get feedback from your stakeholders. So I started with the first 100-day listening tour, and there were so many people that wanted to provide feedback, surprise, from this institution, that it turned into a 200-day listening tour. This is the cover of a report that we'll be distributing in a few weeks here as we put the finishing touches on it, that will tell you all the specifics of what I heard both face-to-face and via the online survey that was provided. But I want to provide some highlights. First off, I asked people, what do we do well? What should we do more of? And they spoke to our strengths. They talked about our world faculty. Students talked about the small class sizes and the high personal contact they have with these amazing faculty and the staff that support them, and how that's a unique hallmark of this institution. And one student told me, they go, we are the best kept secret. If people at these other schools knew the type of support and engagement they could get with the faculty here, they would be here tomorrow. And so we need to fix that. They talked about the premier location of Lake Tahoe in this beautiful 160-plus acre campus. We have views that rival, I would say, any community college in the state, right here on this campus, in the demonstration garden, outside the Creekside Room, so on and so forth. We need to use that to our strengths. We have resources from the bond measure that are now here at our disposal to help improve our campus and modernize our campus. And this last one, a few people said this. A lot of people said something like it, but the idea of small but mighty. We do so much but with so little. We are one of the smallest community colleges in the California system, yet we are leaders in open educational resources. Yet we are leaders in the pilot program for the online and education initiative. Yet we are leaders in incarcerated student program working with the state. We are leaders in all these areas, and it's because of all of you that wear so many hats and carry so many challenges and opportunities on your shoulders to help make this small but mighty institution. What can we do better? Where can we improve? So there's a long list up here. I'm not going to go through every one individually, but what I want to let you know is that you'll see feedback on these through the actions that I'm suggesting and through the remainder of this presentation, because these are really informing my thinking. How do we improve the schedule? How do we make it more predictable, reliable, more student-centered? How do we help students get in and get complete, have success and get complete and move on? Right? How do we continue use of the theater facility? We already talked about that, right? What does it mean to have a culture of accountability and a culture of excellence on this campus? So we'll hear more about these, and this report will be distributed widely to campus and our community partners. Here's some things we're doing already. These came directly out of the first 100 days, or first 200 days as it was, from meeting with all of you. I was told we need to invest our resources in the classroom by multiple individuals. And they gave me some specifics, and they're reflected here. So in the 17-18 academic year, we made an increase of our allotment for instructional supplies. If you turn in an annual unit plan requesting more instructional supply funds, you likely receive those funds. We nearly doubled our adjunct faculty office hours. This was feedback from full-time faculty, adjunct faculty, and students to get them on campus so they could support our students. So we have a doubling of the resources available for that. We will have an instructional equipment grant process similar to the one that we had about 2 years ago, where you can let us know your needs for instructional equipment. We have a limited amount of funds, but again, we're trying to make a dent in that and make sure that you as staff and faculty have the resources you need to do your job. And marketing, marketing, marketing. I kept hearing about that. Full-time faculty told me, get me the students here so I could do my job. Help get our message out. And so we have some one-time funds this year, and we've invested those in marketing so we could go out and do greater digital outreach and bring students to this campus and let us no longer be the best kept secret in community colleges. So what am I going to do next year? I will continue to meet with any of you that want to meet. So I will continue the idea of the first 200 days. But what I found is that also going out to your place of business, to your desk, job shadowing you is very insightful to me as a leader. So I had the opportunity to spend some time in enrollment services with Rosie and Raina and Danny and Drew and others. Actually on the first day of registration, so it was kind of an exciting day to be there. And I learned immensely about their work and how they support students, and it raised questions for me, and it showed me stuff, and it was very insightful. And here's Danny helping me get on the wait list for one of our area classes. And I kept saying, God, those classes are so popular. We need to offer more of them. And so I'm going to commit to doing 3 job shadows this year. Any staff, part-time, classified, faculty, directors, you let me know. Just send me an email. CC Lisa, that's how things get done around here. And what we'll do, if we get a lot of requests, we'll probably pick the name out of the hat or something like that. And and I will come to do this. And this is something I'm going to commit to continuing to do because I believe understanding your work will help me better do my job. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's talk about the institution. Who is Lake Tahoe Community College? Who are we as an institution? Who are our students? Well, first and foremost is we are a comprehensive community college. We're focused on transfer, but we also have professional technical certificates. We have flagship programs such as the Fire Academy. We serve our local business and industry such as our culinary programs. We have a lot to be proud of at this college. Let's talk a little bit about our students. Here in this graph, we have our percentage student body and then the student demographics. And the blue is 2006-07 and the green is 16-17. And what you'll see is that our student body is becoming more diverse, especially in the area of our Hispanic Latino students, which is good because our community is more diverse and we need to represent our community. How's the graph, Kathy? Could you see it? Kathy Cox is my graph tester, so she told me yesterday she's got a pet peeve which you can't read a graph, so want to make sure that we're good to go. I was nervous. So not only is our student body becoming more diverse, but we're also serving more first-generation students, right? About a third of our students are first-generation students, and that was my personal story earlier. We have the ability not only to change their lives, but everyone around them, and we must remember that the first time somebody shows up on campus or on the enrollment services counter, how do we make sure they get what they need? As Steve Barry told me, he said, don't let them leave the building. Let's solve their issue. Let's get them where they need to go. Let's not let them leave the building until we've ensured they've had success. We also have a great makeup of students, right? Look at all these different countries since 1213, all these different states represented. We've made an effort to be California's premier destination community college. We are reaching out to students across the nation and across the world. I think we have a lot to be excited about. So I want to share with you a video here that was put together by a student, one of our own students, and our national program, student program coordinator. And let's go ahead and take a peek at the video and see what you think.
Hi, I'm Jeff DeFranco, and I'm the president at Lake Tahoe Community College, and I want to invite you to come join us at California's premier destination community college.
Hi, my name is Martha Sternal. I'm the coordinator of the International Student Program at Lake Tahoe Community College. And I would like you to meet some of our international students.
Hi, my name is Sanjay.
Olá, meu nome é Josh.
My name is Sammy.
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
Hi, my name is Lexi.
Hi, my name is Jaden. My name is Ben from London, England.
And my name is James.
Oi, meu nome é Ana Paula.
My name's Jack.
大家好，我是 Francis.
Hej, mitt namn är Sandra, en internationell student från Sverige.
Hi, my name is Carmen.
Hola, me llamo Miguel. Hi, my name is Sinatra.
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Namaskar, मेरा नाम शाश्वत है.
Hola, me llamo Alberto. I'm from Spain and I'm an international student at Lake Tahoe Community College. I chose to study in the US because it was a great opportunity for me to learn English, become better with a new language and explore a new world. Besides education, LTCC provides you the opportunity to be a better person. The teachers and the staff, they are lovely people that will help you in any way they can.
I like Lake Tahoe Community College because the small class sizes, which makes it easier for me to approach my professors when I have questions. I don't have to compete for attention.
As an international student, you're able to come and live and learn here in Lake Tahoe and not only get a great 2-year degree, but we really support our students and help them succeed and move on to transfer to amazing 4-year institutions here in California, all across the nation. And we're excited to have more and more international students here on our campus as we seek to create a vibrant student life and diversify our perspectives. So the international students that are able to come and learn at Lake Tahoe Community College are going to bring cultures and traditions which really enriches our campus. And really want you here with us to enhance everything Lake Tahoe has to offer.
Our international student program is such an amazing opportunity for students from all over the world. Since 2013, Lake Tahoe Community College has hosted international students from 24 different countries, and we are very excited for the future of the program. Lake Tahoe Community College has a broad spectrum of academic programs in science and liberal arts. We offer 37 degrees, and the most popular ones among international students are business accounting and management, computer science, kinesiology, and psychology. Because we are a community college, we are the first step for international students to enter the higher education system in the US with the most affordable tuition there is.
The campus is really small. I like the fact that everyone knows each other. Everyone's really friendly, which is really nice. It gives a homely, good community feel, definitely.
LTCC is a great place to be because you're surrounded by all this nature, amazing weather, and amazing mountains.
I like LTCC because I'm learning from people from all over the world about their cultures and how to treat them in the way that they think is respectful. It's more than just studying, it's a life experience.
The location is also perfect for me. I love the trees and nature. My goals for the future are to go back home to my country and improve in terms of access to education.
So Blynn, she's here with us today. And Marta, why don't you guys stand up so we can recognize you? So Lake Tahoe is an amazing place. We need to let the world know about it. And this is a video that will go out to students overseas, other countries, for them to hear about us. A little bit more about who is LTCC. So this is educational attainment levels in the South Lake Tahoe area, so within our district, so beyond the city. And what you'll see here is about 40% of students either have a graduate degree, or 40% of our community have a graduate degree, bachelor's degree, or associate's degree. That means 60% of our community can immediately benefit from the services that we have to offer. So we need to get our message out and bring those folks in and let them know that they can have a life-changing opportunity here at Lake Tahoe Community College. And I would also contend that other 40% could come back to do personal enhancement, enhance their professional goals, maybe get an additional certification, right? There is always more to learn. And now with bringing on the University Center, we could serve that 9% with an associate's degree that are looking for their next step. All right, let's also talk about some shifts. So here's where we were in 2012-13. We had math and English major departments and then kind of PE, art, and biology. I share this with you to let you know that we've had a shift, especially since the impact of the state-imposed limits on repeatability of activity courses. It's changed who we're able to serve. There is also a national decline of students. So in 11-12, there was more than 7 million students in two-year public universities, public colleges, and last year there was only 5.7 million. So a national decline of the students that are available to us. So we see kind of our revised numbers. We have fire science at the top there because of our partnership with the Regional Public Safety Training Consortium. Math and English are still there, but numbers are down. We have world languages, which is kind of on the growth, and then PE fitness not at the levels that it used to be. This is just sharing how we're shifting. The world is changing us around us, and we need to be aware of that and evolve accordingly. So during this time, without going through all the specifics of this graph, there is a key up there. This blue represents our campus-generated FTS, so that's face-to-face or distance education. And so back in 11-12, that was pretty much everything we had. We were almost at 1,880 full-time equivalent students, FTS, but they've declined, as they have all over the state and the nation. And so we've had to be smart. We've brought in an incarcerated student program, instructional service agreements, dual enrollment partnerships with our high schools to find other groups to serve. And mind you, all these different colors, they help stabilize and allow us to continue those comprehensive program offerings for our traditional face-to-face and distance education students. We've also, those red lines are some stabilization we've received from the state. We'll have to keep our eye on that as we move forward. This could be an hour presentation in its own. It's a teaser. I'm sure this is something we'll have an opportunity to talk more about as a campus this year. All right, what's our vision? Who was at this event in fall 2013 and provided feedback on 2020 vision? I know some of our education partners were there, I know some of our foundation partners, many of our staff and faculty, and we came up with this vision for who we wanted to be in 2020. And a big part of that was a destination college. And out of that came our vision statement, to be California's premier destination community college. Every word is purposeful there. We're not trying to be the world's premier destination community college. We're not trying to be the biggest one or the most comprehensive one, but we're trying to take advantage of our world-class location and be a destination community college. So, some more things on this vision, kind of focusing in. First off, this destination. The International Student Program, what you saw there, those are the type of things that we're doing to move toward that vision. But it's going to take all of us on this campus, in this community, to be moving toward this shared vision to help us get there. And everyone has a role to play in achieving this vision. And it reminds me of a story, a famous story that I'm sure many of you have heard. It was a visit to the NASA space station in 1962 that was made by President John F. Kennedy. And he saw a janitor carrying a broom, and he interrupted his tour, walked over to the janitor and said, "Hi, I'm Jack Kennedy. What are you doing?" "Well, Mr. President," the janitor responded, "I'm putting a man on the moon." Everyone has a role to play to help us achieve this vision and help support our students and serve this community. So if you could see your place in the bigger puzzle, we could all move together toward this vision. All right, I think part of our vision, in addition to maintaining our comprehensive nature and focusing on our transfer degrees, is how do we align destination programs? We've received a lot of feedback on this recently from our educational master plan process, which you'll hear more about tomorrow. Meetings that we've had with business leaders, meetings that I've had in my first 200 days, and they said, we need to align with our local labor market value, we need to align with destination programs. The two that come up again and again are hospitality management. Those are our partners from the beach retreat, thank you. I hear from industry often, we need people to manage our organizations and to move up, and they need to have the proper certifications and training to do that are aligned with industry standards. I've also heard, hey, San Mateo Community College District, San Diego Community College District, they can't do wilderness education like we can. We have Lake Tahoe. We need to look how we could expand this program, how we could better serve our community. I want to share a brief clip. We're creating student testimonials. This one's hot off the press. There will be one for other programs, so don't think we just did it for wilderness. But let's hear what this student has to say about their impact in wilderness education.
I'm Tyler Lehman, and I'm a proud graduate of Lake Tahoe Community College. After high school, I decided I needed to move to Lake Tahoe, and Lake Tahoe Community College was the perfect choice. It was right here in South Lake, close to everything, and in a beautiful place. I knew I wanted to be in the mountains, I knew I loved the snow, and once I saw the programs that Lake Tahoe Community College had, I knew that the wilderness education program was the one for me. There were so many classes, outside classes, first aid classes, snow science classes, anything you could think of outside, they had. And education from LTCC helped lay the groundwork for where I am today. I started as an ordinary groomer here, and over the past 10 years, I've worked my way all the way up to the manager of the department, and I get to work at a beautiful place like this. My favorite experience as a whole was a 4-day outside snow camping trip where we learned wilderness first responder skills, snow skills, and everything in between. What I got out of the program that got me where I am today is leadership skills, specifically outdoor leadership skills. It taught me how to be a leader in an outside, wild environment like this. The next step for me would be Mountain Operations Manager, and I know LTCC can still provide the classes that I need to continue to move up. Look at this place. This is an amazing office, and LTCC got me here.
What do you think? Is that alumni we can be proud of? There are a lot of amazing student stories, and you're going to hear more of them today. I want to shift gears here, though, and focus on Measure F. This is a gift that the community gave us that really can change our future. The Foundation Board, I want to give a special recognition to them because without their fundraising, this would not have been possible to go out and run this campaign. And again, there's a lot of ground to cover here. I'm going to touch on them. You'll hear more about the details throughout the year. But let's look at some of our projects that we've accomplished already. So here we have our plaza. You'll have lunch here today in the plaza. It's still awaiting some landscaping and a fire pit and some furniture and a few things, but it's nearly complete. But it's a great opportunity for students to host events, for us to welcome the community to events. And again, it's all heated sidewalks, so think about how much easier it's going to be able to navigate campus in the middle of winter. The PE building, remember this? All that corroded concrete. It was like an ice rink trying to get into PE. Where's my PE faculty? You remember trying to get into that building, right? I was always worried that the students would actually be able to make it into the facility. Now we, now we have, sorry, I'm clicking. Now we have an ADA, American with Disabilities Act, accessible facility. The concrete is heated so they can access it 365 days a year. So again, another important project. Staying outdoors, this is a heated sidewalk that now goes from the end of our parking lot all the way into the library building, right? So no more climbing over the curbs, no more slip and fall hazards in the parking lot. You have a safe path in and out of this building, as do our students. I think this winter it will really show its value. What about this soccer field? This is one of the most premier soccer fields in all of Northern California. It's made with an organic infill, which is natural and environmentally sustainable product. And it really tells a lot about who we are. Welcome to Coyote Country, right? It's our brand. It's a great way for the community to come out and see our campus. And as I mentioned, those young kids that I coach, their first interaction with the campus is out at that soccer field. And I'm sure, I think we'll have Dr. Fritz Wank will be right there with his number 42 jersey. Student Commons, still in construction if you've been in the Commons recently, but it is getting close. We've made some improvements with directional signage. We've made improvements with some acoustic paneling. We have some furniture that's set to arrive the first week of August. It's going to really modernize the space. There was a lot of student feedback in the selection of the furniture and the fabrics. It should be a hip and cool place to hang out and to greet folks as they enter our campus. What about Wi-Fi? So this is one thing I heard a lot about during my first 200 days meetings. We need to improve cell service on campus and Wi-Fi on campus. So here's our campus map, just to kind of orient you. There's first floor, student center. Here we are in Duke Theater. And before our phase 1 project, this is what our Wi-Fi looked like. Green is good, blue's non-existent, orange and yellow, not so hot, spotty, right? So we did a phase 1 project in summer 15. We actually have people on site today, this week, putting another additional 40 wireless drops on campus. So we could go from that to this, to a rich... And more to come. As soon as we check the box on Wi-Fi, cell phone boosters are next. They've been ordered. That's the next step. All right, so back to our premier destination community college, right? What does this tell us? It told us we want to be the hub. We want to be the hub of arts and culture, like we are with many of the events that we're hosting in this theater this year. But what about also being the mobility hub, right? One of the barriers for our students is getting good transportation to campus. So we've been working with our partners at Tahoe Transportation District. They are going to bring a new bus shelter to this campus next year. We are going to look to bring braid some Measure F funds and bring some new bike parking. This vision might be a little grandiose. It might not look like this. It's just totally conceptual. But the concept is having consistent bus service to our campus, covered bike parking, maybe even some bike lockers, things like that, so we become a hub of transportation in this community. And so I'm very excited about this. And again, the power of partnership, what we could do with our local partners. You'll hear more about Tahoe Transportation District later today, so I'll save it for a little later in our presentation. Back to our vision. What about 21st century learning environments, right? We're not there yet. I recognize that. We have a long ways to go, but we do have a vision for it. I'm going to jump to bullet point 2 and 3. So this year, we're just in the process of selecting some new architects that specialize in what's called educational specifications, helping get feedback from faculty about what you need in the classroom so they could design the classroom furniture, layout, and technology accordingly. We have identified through the Facilities Council previously 3 classrooms that will be prototypical classrooms that we will construct and modernize next summer. We've chosen these because they're pretty dilapidated, if you know those classrooms, and also because they're different, and so they'll give us an opportunity to try out some different classrooms and create our prototypical design. We also did a small remodel on E106 this year with some maintenance and technology staff based on some feedback that was received from the Technology Council. So we were moving toward modernizing our facilities. Also, the University Center will be very modern and will help guide our improvements back to our regular campus classrooms. Also, library and learning services. So there's a lot going on inside there. This is just an exterior picture, but we're enhancing the Math Success Center. We're connecting the dots to better serve students, right? Our goal is to bring vibrancy back to the library and better expand our services. So tutoring and learning services used to be available Monday through Thursday only. I think they were 10 to 6 were their hours, right? So very limited hours for our students. But now, by combining them with the library, they're going to benefit from the library's expanded hours of 9 to 7, Monday through Thursday, and they get a Friday from 9 to 4. But even better, through the consolidation and being more efficient with our staff, we are now going to be able to bring Sunday hours for our students so they could come to campus and get ready to start their week right. What do you guys think about that? So I want to make an introduction. I want to introduce Melanie Chu, who's our new librarian, started this week, and we are thrilled to have her. Welcome, Melanie. And Melanie comes to us from CSU San Marcos. That's always been a learning library. It's always had the combination of those services, and so she's going to bring great expertise. And I would just say bear with us this first term as we figure it all out, right? We're still, anything has an implementation dip. When you start it off, you got to kind of work through the kinks. We're doing that. Please be patient. Please send your students forward. All right, that really kind of concludes the looking back portion of the presentation and the celebration portion of the presentation. And now I want to look forward. What have we committed to for this year? So this is, it's not all the specific details, but these are the overarching themes of the board, the goals that have been set for me in consultation with our elected Board of Trustees about what we're going to work on this year. And I'm going to touch on each of these so that way you know as a member of our team where we're trying to head. So first things first, right? Reaffirming accreditation. Hopefully many of you had the opportunity to read my email on accreditation earlier this week. It is critically important. If we get held up in accreditation challenges, we won't be able to do anything else. We must check this box. We must get through it. I feel very good about where we're at. We all should be proud of the report that we submitted last month, not only because of the quality of the report, but because the work that it reflects that all of you do each and every day. So when that accreditation team shows up in 24 days, October 9th through 12th, there's a ticker on the website in case you want to keep track. We should put our best foot forward. We are small but mighty. We do a lot at this college that we should be proud of. We are an accredited institution as we stand right now, and there's no reason we shouldn't receive a full reaffirmation of our accreditation, and that needs to be our message. You will hear more about this afternoon in Accreditation Jeopardy. I hope you could attend. We have 2 action projects out of our quality focus essay that really talk about what we need to do to move forward. And those are under integrated planning and guided pathways. Since those are tied to later goals, I'll speak to them then. But what I do want to do is recognize some of the folks that were in accreditation. Hold your applause, there will be a moment for it. There were so many people involved, but this group over here was our final writing team. They're the ones that authored that 500-page report. Could you believe it? This group over here was our evidence team. They're the group that gathered more than 1,400 pieces of evidence to support and say that we should be an accredited institution. Could those 2 groups please stand up so we could see you? And please stay standing. Stand on up. Stay standing. So stay standing and come out of the shadows. Thank you. But there was a lot more people that were involved, right? So if you helped write any part of the report, if you were on a governance group such as Budget Council or Institutional Effectiveness Council or College Learning Council that gave feedback into the report, if you attended an accreditation forum, if you filled out the accreditation online survey, this should be most of you, stand on up so we could see who you are. And so stay standing. I want you to look around and see the broad and diverse viewpoints that went into this report. And I think this report, more than any other accreditation report that Lake Tahoe Community College has ever submitted, reflects a broad and diverse viewpoint and engagement from more people than ever. And I'll give kudos to Jeremy Brand and Michelle Risen, who really pushed that. How do we get a broad voice? Thank you to each and every one of you. So first things first, right? Reaffirm accreditation. What about removing barriers to access and success, right? So we need to remove our barriers to student access and success, of which there are many barriers. Students almost face a brick wall when they start. right? They're going to have to give up wages to come back to school. They may have transportation or childcare issues. What about tuition and fees, textbook costs, access codes, right? That's a new thing that adds additional burdens to our students. So how do we break down these barriers? Well, I would say we use the sledgehammers of access to break down these barriers and make it available to our students. And I'm going to talk about 4 of these as we move forward. First, open educational resources. We've received 2 grants in this. We're moving toward an implementation grant. We have one of the foremost leaders, not only in the state, in the nation, as an advocate for open educational leaders, open educational resources, the leader, Dr. Larry Green. We are soon going to have a full AA degree, or we're moving toward, through this implementation grant, to have a full AA degree in math through open educational resources, meaning no textbook costs through your full degree. We are also, Larry, it's his personal mission to put my math lab out of business by making an open source math text access. This winter, students will have a clear schedule that lets them know this class has no textbook cost. So they can consider that important bit of information as they make their course decisions. But textbooks aren't going away, right, completely. So in the meantime, we will maintain and grow our lending library through multiple categorical resources, through the support of the foundation. This past year with Equity, we added 20 laptops that were available for checkout. Again, this is an important role. We've combined these services. They'll be housed in, the lending library will be housed in the library, one-stop shop for students. This next one I want to slow down to take a minute to talk about, because this is something that I believe is absolutely critical to the future of this community and this college. In some degrees, this may be one of the most important initiatives that we take on. And it's bringing a promise program for our graduates. And I think to start, focusing on our LTUSD graduates from TLAC and South Tahoe High School, and our Wattell graduates, our South Shore feeder schools, of raising the funds necessary to bring them free college, first year, tuition and fee free, so that way they are encouraged and engaged to transition right out of high school into that next step higher education. I could tell you that a year ago, August, there was 24 of these place-based programs in the state of California. As of this year, there's nearly 50. This is the way of the future. We need to find a way to do it here for our community. There's states that are going promise. The state of Nevada is piloting going full promise with their class of their fall of 18 class. If we do not do this, we will not be serving our communities and we will get left behind. So a lot more about that. There are a lot of benefits of College Promise, right? It helps with persistence. It helps with college youth aspirations because students understand that they could go to college and get that first step tuition and fee free. How this would look is our current plan and hope is to work with our foundation, who's already said they're willing to support this, work with our board of trustees, work with all of you, so we could launch this for our fall of 19 students, which will mean we'll have to have this thing rolled out by January 19 to help share with our high schools and share with students and families that this is available. So this isn't a program that you grow overnight, but this needs to be a program that we're looking to. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys willing to work with me on that? So one other barrier to access is transportation. And we saw that a lot this year with the weather and kind of intermittent bus service. It really impacted some of our most underserved communities this winter quarter. So I want to acknowledge Tahoe Transportation District and our partners at Advance for bringing free bus passes to all LTCC students for this upcoming year. This should launch probably the first week of October or so. This will be a pilot year to see how it goes. But again, let's be the hub. Let's be the center of this community. Let's be the spot where every bus comes through, right? One other thing that we're already doing to help with access is our math and English boot camps, right? Students get caught in a cycle of remediation. They come to college, not at college level math or English, and they have to take these remedial courses that take time away from their completion. So under the leadership of folks like Dr. Larry Green, Wynn Walker, Julie Ewing, Lisa Berry, and others, we have been offering these math and English boot camps so students could come in for just 4 days and immerse themselves in the content and see if they could test up to higher level math. And they've been hugely successful for these students to enhance their skills and sometimes shave a class, 2 classes, or even 3 classes off what they were expected to do. So I think this would be a great time also to acknowledge and introduce our new full-time faculty member in the English department, who's been a long-time adjunct for us and a leader of our acceleration efforts, Julie Ewing. Julie. So all these things are great, but they don't matter if the students aren't here, right? We need to get the students to this campus, so we need to improve our student recruitment and marketing efforts. We need to think, we need to be nimble, we need to be smart. I want to share this graph with you, and I'm glad our partners from LTUSD are here. I don't know if you noticed that, but our goal here is to take these Vikings and help make them coyotes, right? And our goal is we want to capture about 50%, by having them come within the first year, 50% of our South Tahoe High School graduates here. We've been hovering around 35, a little more than a third of them. If all those other students were going to other community colleges and other four-year institutions, I would say great, but they're not. There is a group of students that's not being served, that is leaving high school, going into the workforce, going off to wherever, but not taking advantage of higher education and everything it could do for them. We need to reach out to those students with our partners. So let's talk about some things to do it. Well, we need our strong relationships with local high schools. We need to develop a 11-14 pathway. We need to expand our dual enrollment efforts. We need to make sure that students and their families and the staff at our local high schools know that we are the first and the best choice for students to succeed. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about some stats of students that come to community college and go on to the UC. We need early registration, right? We need to lock these students in before we lose them. So here's some things I'm suggesting and things that we're already starting to do. Building those relationships with all our basin area high schools, right? Not just being South Shore centric, because we know these, you know these kids, they're going to want to, many of them want to stay in the basin, continue the Tahoe life, right? So let's make sure they know about us. Something that we're doing is we're doing what's called geofencing, digital advertising around all 4 of these high schools. So if you're at that high school, there's a good chance on your mobile phone or your web browser, you're going to see ads about LTCC. And we're putting a digital fence around them so that way they know we're here and we're an option to them. We also have a number of apps that we're using to help engage students, prospective students and current students. Our first one is Guidebook. This is really targeted at prospective students. Marta could use this to send to her international students. Julie Booth could use this to send to prospective students that are off the Hill. And they could take a virtual tour with Juan's voice that shows them our campus, all our services, what we have to offer. They could come to campus on a Saturday or Sunday and take a GPS-enabled tour that talks them through. So again, this is something to reach out to our prospective students, because we know our students, today's students, they're hanging out on smartphones, right? They want to work through apps. They want to work in a native environment. Coyote Corner. Who's got Coyote Corner on their phone? All right, nice. You all should have this on your phones. You all should have this on your phone. This is the tool to engage students. This is a tool to share information with them and hear from them. Look what Madeline Rios did here. She took a picture from her Bio 111 class. She said, register online for Bio 111 this summer, right? That's a great way to highlight her course. Brian Urian's been doing that with the 3D art department, always putting great posts. Faculty members, I would encourage you, if you're not using this, this is a great way to reach students, and maybe even a better way than just putting a flyer up around campus in today's world. All right. So we have, and all these have different elements, right? One's prospective students. This is really our student engagement tool. We are getting ready to launch a third and final app that is possible through Ellucian, which is our student registration system, that will allow students to register for classes, pay for classes, and see their grades in a native environment on their smartphone. So if you ever tried to register for a class on an iPad, it doesn't work. You will be able to do it now with this app. So you could simply get on your phone, register for that class, and get in. But again, this is all about meeting students where they're at, which is often on technological devices. One more thing in the area of recruitment, and this is going to be a big jump, and I'm going to acknowledge that. But I know that we need to do this now while we still have students to capture and bring to this campus. And I'm going to need many of you to come with me on this mission to make this possible. We know that we lose many students over the summer. It's called summer melt. It happens at institutions all across the nation. We know many students leave South Tahoe High School and tell their counselor, their teacher, their friend, I'm going to Lake Tahoe Community College next year, but they never show up. We need to give them a plan before they leave high school, before they leave for summer. And so I'm proposing that next year we produce a summer/fall 2018 calendar, a schedule that is available in May of the academic year, so we could get our high school students registered on senior day before they leave high school, and we could get our on-campus students registered before they leave for the summer to ensure that we have greater persistence. I am not blind that this will take a lot of work. I'm not blind that this means we're going to have to change how we do business and move back our schedules, but I would tell you that the world is shifting around us, and if we don't shift with it, we're going to be left behind. What do you think? Are you willing to come with me on this journey? All right. Also, launching the University Center. Big goal for us, right? And I'm going to tell you a student story later that really encapsulates why this is so important. So we've had a vision for a while of this University Center, and now it's becoming a reality, right? Did you see the construction on the way in, right? It's just sprouting out of the ground like a weed. But now is our goal to ensure that we have a diverse array of partners and a diverse array of program offerings to serve the students of this college and this community. I want to highlight our inaugural and our first partner who really stepped up the table, who was here early and often, and that's Sierra Nevada College. Sierra Nevada College launched in 2016 a global business management degree. They now have launched a psychology program. We have some of our partners here from Sierra Nevada College, their president, Dr. Alan Walker, and Kendra Wong. If you guys could stand up so we could see you and recognize you. He's back there. And there are many stories of our students going on to SNC and taking advantage of this, and also people re-entering that have had that associate's degree for a long time. This University Center could not only change this college, but it could change this community. So more work to be done. Also, one of our goals, develop better institutionalized strategic planning, right? As an institution, we're doing a lot of things, right? We're doing so much. We need to bring it all together to make sure that we're moving in an integrated environment. So this will be one of our goals. That's an action project that came out of our quality focus essay. We'll be working on a new educational master plan this fall. It's been 7 years since we did our strategic plan. We're due for a new strategic plan in January of 18. We're going to want your input and your help to help guide our future. What about student housing? This is something I've heard again and again about, the need for housing in this community, not only for our students, but for our employees. We cannot solve the housing crisis on our own, but I contend to you that we could be a major player in solving the housing crisis that's existing right now in South Lake Tahoe. And when we did our 2020 vision process, you told us we want to be a residential campus. Well, we are moving toward that. We did a student demand survey last year. We brought in a firm that does this for colleges and universities all up and down the West Coast, and they say, you have existing demand for a 100-bed unit. You need to go out there and find a private developer to partner with you. So one of our goals and commitments for this year is to secure that private developer by the end of the academic year, get a contract each with them so we could bring them in and hopefully no later than fall 22 open residential living on this campus, because we know that housing is going to become tighter in this community, and if we want to keep face-to-face students, we're going to need to give them a place to live. What do you think? But we can't wait to 2022, right? We need to help our students now, and that's why I've been working with Tracy Thomas and our international education folks and our athletics folks and other folks that interface with students and figure out how can we help these students find housing that exists right now, how can we help them understand their rights as tenants, their responsibilities as tenants, because they need to have a successful housing experience so they can have their basic needs met so they can focus on their education and obtaining their degree. All right, on to another goal, and this one's an important one. It's dear to my heart. Fundraising to support college vision and initiatives, right? Our foundation's been great partners. There's so many things we couldn't do without them. Look at those scholarship numbers. More than $100,000 worth of scholarships given out last year. This foundation is committed to the Promise program, but more importantly, look at these students, right? These are many of our scholarship winners. Many of the students that you know and that we all know and love, right? They have also supported student success grants, such as this group that got to go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and do a kayak trip to tie in with their biology class. So we're doing some things this year to help bring in some additional resources. This Coyote Legacy Plaza is a paver project to sell pavers at different degrees to raise money for the foundation. And the first money to be raised was to bring a bronze coyote statue because we need to dress up the space. But as you'll see, there's so many pavers that we're going to easily be able to raise the money for the coyote statue, but then have many more pavers to sell to help raise money for the foundation. So I encourage any of you that you believe this is a fit for you, find a way, purchase a paver, maybe even do a payroll deduction over multiple years to allow your legacy. It doesn't have to be multiple years, I'm just saying. It can be. Allow your legacy to be there. And I like this idea, maybe somebody wants to acknowledge a student. Sabrina, who was one of our foundation board reps last year, we actually gave a paver in honor of her that will be placed out in that paver. So maybe you honor a student as well. So again, lots of stuff going on. There's more to talk about with the foundation, but there's only so much time today. Building a guided pathways model to support student success and completion. Right? That's why we're here. It's not just to get students in the door, but they need to succeed and complete, and preferably on-time complete. Right? So how are we going to get there? Well, we've identified this action project out of our quality focused essay through accreditation. This is not an overnight thing. This is going to be a multiple year project to figure out what guided pathways looks like at Lake Tahoe Community College. And guided pathways are really about supporting students, and it's not giving them a strict step of classes, but really reaching around them and supporting them and moving them on their direction to help them meet their stated goal. Because we know, and in community college, national community college research will tell you that the cafeteria model of all these different options no longer works. Because students take courses that don't help move them toward their degree, and maybe they run out of resources and time and drop out and don't complete. Right? So we need to move from a buffet to a guided menu. Right? We used to think that more options equal more students. If we'll just put more options in the schedule, we'll get more students. How's that work for us? It doesn't work, right? Nationally, it tells you it doesn't work. It does not equal more students. So instead, what we need to do is give students good options that help support them within our comprehensive program offerings, give them choice within there, but help guide them, help provide a lot of support for them. Because it's up to us to put students on the path to success, right? We can't expect these first-generation college students just to come in and go, oh yeah, this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to reach out tutoring services on my own, and I'm going to figure out how to go get a book on my own. We need to wrap around these students and support them to succeed. And that's the guided pathways model, right? Again, this is something we'll be talking about over the coming days of convocation, over the coming years. So I'm not going to, it could be an hour presentation on its own. But what I want to encourage all of us is to begin this dialogue about how we wrap around and put our students on the path. With that said, all the student services initiatives in the world, all the marketing initiatives in the world, all the student recruitment initiatives in the world cannot replace one thing. The single most important factor in student success is and will continue to be excellent faculty. And that's what we have, and that's what we need to promote, and we need to get students in those classes so they could succeed. All right, we are getting close here. So I want to finish with some student spotlights and talk about some students, right? Because we're going to start with students and close with students. This first student, Anna Melina Trejo, we were supposed to hear from her today in our student alumni panel. I'm not sure if it's going to work. She was going to Zoom in from Oregon. But there she is in 2014 as a student ambassador. Here she is now as an environmental advocate in Oregon. She's graduated from here, went to CSU Humboldt State, and now has a job in her field. She is a success story. She also is a DACA student. She is also somebody that came to our country as a youth, and she's been a contributing member of this college and this community, and I think she is really the poster student of why we need to help support those students and open our arms to that community. What do you think? All right, this next student's near and dear to my heart, an excellent student that I had the opportunity to meet last year, and it's had such a great story. Kimberly Barnett Burton. Kimberly, do you want to stand up so we can say hi to you? So Kimberly, South Tahoe High School grad, actually went on to community college in Santa Barbara, I believe. Had some personal issues in her family life, had a very unfortunate passing of an immediate family member, ended up dropping out of school and found herself in Sacramento waiting tables, and eventually had a son and decided, I need to enhance my life so I can enhance my child's life. And she got connected to none other than Roberta Mason, right? Roberta kind of makes everything tick in this community. And Roberta brought her to this college, And look at her, she won 5 scholarships last year. And there she is on graduation day with her son. Carter, this one is for you, her cap says. And guess what? She's now a student in the Global Business Management program here on campus with Sierra Nevada College. You'll hear more from Kimberly later today. This next guy you're going to hear from as well, a few of you may know him. I'm sure no one's ever drank beer at Sedelis. But Chris Sedelis is a super LTCC alum. He's got 5 degrees from us. Can you believe it? Sometimes you got to kind of shoo him on. Time to go, Chris. He went on to University of California at Davis. I believe his work was in viticulture. And he came back to Lake Tahoe, and he's opened up a small business with his partner here in our community, and has been hugely successful, as many of you know. Chris, another great alumni story. What about these two? You know them, right? Antonio and Gina. We love them. They can't be here today, but you might get to hear from Antonio later. They're at UC Berkeley. They're in the midst of classes right now, but they are success stories, right? They had great success here. They both have very personal stories. And I'll tell you what Janet Napolitano recently told me and a group of our peers here is that community college transfer students graduate from the University of California system at the same rate as students who start as freshmen. I posted this quote from our presentation from her, and it got 4,000 impressions on Twitter because people were so compelled by the message, and it is true. And so we need to stop the myth that community college is not a pathway to success, because it absolutely is. Kids come here and get a great education, load of scholarships, and go on to a CSU, UC, private education, and succeed. All right, I'm going to kind of bring us to a close here. So I've showed you a lot. I've talked about where we're going as an institution. And I'm asking some of you to come with me, because I can't do this alone. I need all of you, our staff, our faculty, our students, our administrators, our community partners, our business leaders, to come with me. And I know if you want to go fast, you should go alone. But if you want to go far, you should go together. So I'm asking all of you to come with me and go far and show the world that Lake Tahoe Community College is an institution that is small but mighty.